Hello guys, you are very welcome back to episode 10 of Chats with BTD. I am delighted to be joined by the Queen and a legend of Shells, Midfielder Maestro, Alex Kavanagh. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Appreciate your time coming in to speak to us.
Thanks very much for having me.
First of all, how's things? I know you're up in Cliftonville there recently.
Yeah, all good. The All-Ireland Cup, it's kind of interesting. It's nice to see new teams coming into it. Gives you a different perspective, kind of challenging. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, good stuff. What we do with most of our guests, we go through a few quickfire questions, so it's basically one or the other.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll bash through them as quick as I can. Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
O'Sullivan or McCabe?
O'Sullivan.
Oh, nice.
I know, I love
CDM or
Katie,
Cam?
CDM.
CDM.
Yeah.
Champions League or World Cup?
Oh, World Cup.
Nice. Sweets or chocolate?
Chocolate, 100%.
Nice, I agree with you on that one. Ice bath or sauna?
Sauna.
Right. Would you rather win 5-0 against your biggest rivals or score a last minute winner?
Oh, a last minute winner probably is more exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The Saints. All out attack or park the bus?
All out attack, 100%.
Teo or King?
Can't tell.
Teo on that one. And then the last one then, a Sun or a City break?
Sun, 100%. Get a bit of tan,
Lovely.
hopefully.
Yeah, lovely. I'd agree with you on that one. Right, we'll kick things off. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into football, and we'll just take it from there.
Yeah, well, I started out when I was probably, I'd say, about 3 or 4. I didn't really have a choice with my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, so he kind of pushed me into it, which obviously I'm happy about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I joined my brother's team. My dad was coaching it, so I just played with the boys up until about, I'd say, 9 or 10, and then actually peeing around the foot protesting against me, saying I couldn't play with the men anymore. Oh, well, not the men, the boys.
Yeah.
So I had to join the girls' team, so I joined Shells, and then since then I've been playing with them.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
So revert back a little bit then for me, if you don't mind. So how was it playing with the boys? Was it, I'm sure at that stage, girls' football wouldn't have been kind of out there as it should have been.
Yeah.
So how was that kind of experience with you?
Yeah, it was good. I loved it, to be honest, because it's kind of all what I knew. Like I kind of, in a way, sometimes I like playing with boys more, they challenge you more. And I think I done the football first course, and I absolutely loved that, training with boys every day. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. It was kind of a bittersweet moment going into girls' football, because like back then it wasn't more like advanced. But yeah, it was good. It was a good experience. But I'm happy to be in women's football now, and that's grown.
Yeah. Did you do that first course in Cabra, was it?
No, actually, there was no girls actually going to the Cabra one, so I couldn't do it then. So I done the one in Ringsend.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah,
what year was that?
I think that was 3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Someone showing me age now.
Hopefully we weren't in the same one. You didn't even notice me.
No, definitely not. My God, Sean and Jerry are getting another mention on this podcast.
Yeah.
Every single one. It's crazy though how it works. Like how the clique of football are the people that have done things that you've done in
It's
football.
madness,
Like it's mental. Like how I find that brilliant though.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of makes football in a way. Everyone knows everyone somehow. But yeah, I've done that a few years
It's all kind of nearly about the people and the memories you make along the way.
100%. That's what you look back at.
It's crazy because I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were speaking. I think it was Stick to Football, I'm sure you know it, with Kane and Wright and stuff, and they were just saying, forget the trophies, forget all of that. It's, the banter you have in the changing room and the friends you make along the way.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's really good. Like how early, like in your football career, did you know that, right, this is something that I'm really good at and this is something that I want to pursue and try and make a career of it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm really good at it now. I try, but
I don't know. I've seen a few clips here.
Yeah, I think from a young age, like obviously I didn't really have a choice because my dad and like my brother have played. But yeah, probably like coming up, like obviously I think it's just what I loved, and I think everyone loves doing what they love, and once you're enjoying it, I think it's what you want to kind of do and what you want to kind of progress in. So I'd say once I've been enjoying it, probably since I was a kid, I've known that I've wanted to do it. Obviously you have challenges along the way that kind of make you doubt things and stuff like that. But yeah, I think once you're loving football, you always want to do it.
You're after mentioning your dad
Yeah.
there a couple of times.
Yeah.
That was kind of following on to my next question. Would he have been your biggest influence, or was there anyone else out there that had, you know, a really big influence on you in terms of football?
100%. Yeah, I think my dad would probably be my biggest influence, to be honest. He kind of put me into it, obviously, like I said, but he obviously played with Pats and Usher and stuff like that. So he'd have a good bit of experience in that way. But yeah, I'd say obviously he'd probably be my biggest influence, and then obviously my brother has played as well at a high level. So I always like to get feedback off them to kind of see what I can go from and improve. But it's not always good.
Does Kane? I know Kane.
Yeah.
I'm sure he jokes around saying he taught you everything you know, does he?
Yeah, he does, yeah, but to be fair, he's very good to me. He always gives me one-to-ones and stuff like that. Comes out to most of my games, so yeah, he's nice to have around, yeah.
Yeah, that's class.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about then when you moved to Shells. So I believe as young as 12.
Yeah.
The whole Ireland came knocking and stuff like that. How was that? Because like 12 years of age is very young. Like.
Yeah, it was, to be honest, I didn't really expect it. When Dave kind of said it to me, look, you're going away to England, to St. George's Park, I was like, Jesus. It was very young, like I absolutely loved it, but it wasn't actually kind of set me back more than anything, if I'm being honest. Like I went away and I was just like, oh my God, when you're 12 you don't think of like, oh, I'm going to be homesick. It was like, oh, I love football. But it was only like, we were only away for like 2 weeks, and still I was like, oh, like I miss home and stuff like that. You had that side of things. Which it did turn me off football a little bit.
Really?
If I'm being truthfully honest. Obviously you have the football side of things, but out that, it kind of did set me back a little bit. Like I didn't want to go into camps and stuff like that, just more so because I'm like afraid of going away. But I think the more I done it, the easier I got, and obviously the football side of things, you always loved that, so it kind of helped with it. But yeah, it was a nice experience, and it's nice to say, but yeah, looking back, it was decent, yeah.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you probably would have been in primary school at the time, right?
Yeah, primary, yeah.
Jeez, that's nuts.
Yeah, it was weird. Like looking back, like it's not really, when you're in it, you're just like, look, I'm going to play football. But looking back now, it's kind of like when I was 12 and playing for under 16s Ireland, you're just like, Jesus, actually, it's not the worst, but yeah, it was a good experience and kind of can hold it to me. So yeah, it's decent.
So in terms of, you're probably not saying that it's you're probably talking negatively about it, but like, describe that kind of whole experience then in terms of the football aspect. So, like you're 12, you're coming up against players who are, you know, grown and stuff like that as well. Like, there's probably a 4-year gap there.
Yeah,
like, did you feel like that you were well capable to, you know, at that level in terms of, you know, I know you're, you know, technically gifted, but in terms of even the physical side of it as well?
Yeah, I don't think. Back then, you're not like, oh, am I physically okay? Like, you're just, for me anyway, I was just like, I'm going out to play something that I love. Apart from obviously the other side of things, like I absolutely loved it. It was just so enjoyable. Like, going off St. George's Park, you're seeing like a massive like area. There's like loads of pitches. Obviously, the England team trained there. It was just unbelievable. And I think playing against England, they're obviously such a tough side. It was just like, it was kind of hit reality. Like, oh wow, like I'm actually here, kind of. But yeah, it was just so enjoyable. But yeah, it was a good experience all along.
So during that time then as well, you mentioned camps there. How many would you have been involved in, or how many times were you called up during that kind of young age of 12?
Young age, yeah, I've been in a few. I wouldn't have counted now, but I've been in a few. It would kind of be underage all the way up, being honest, so I wouldn't know how many now, but yeah, a good few.
Good stuff, good stuff. So on it as well then, in terms of, you know, your time at Shells, like you're still quite young again in terms of, you know, only being 15, 16 and all of a sudden it's the same again. It's a bit of a leapfrog jump up to playing with the senior women's team. So was that kind of similar again for you in terms of, or did that feel kind of more like homely? I know Shells, I'm close to my family. And
no, I think, like, look, obviously that side of things was a bit of a negative, but apart from that, like, I absolutely loved my time in camp, and obviously with Shells as well. It wasn't really like that at all. It was just, I think when you're a kid, like it's just, you're going out to play something that you love. There's no kind of politics or anything like that involved in it. I don't think you think outside of football there's nothing involved. Obviously when you get a little bit older it's a bit different, but yeah, I think just coming up, like I just was kind of playing it because I loved it. But yeah, it was really enjoyable and a good experience.
Brilliant. So then again, when you are with Shells, you're called in to play with the senior team. Like how surely you're thrilled about that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. No, I was buzzing 100%. I think obviously you growing up a little bit more, you get a bit more mature. To be honest, when I was called, I was just like, Jesus, this is kind of surreal. Like, because obviously Ireland is a big thing. Well, for me anyway, it would have been a big thing. But yeah, it was an unbelievable experience, and yeah, it was madness.
Yeah. So see, when you would have been involved in the underage setup, would that have been was the women's national league kind of what would you say, established then, or would it still be in the MGL? Back then?
It was kind of MGL. I think it was more so Raheny then, until they merged with Shells.
Okay.
Because obviously a few of our girls left Shells to go to Raheny, because obviously it was going up, because we didn't have a senior team at that time.
Okay.
Obviously. And then the girls merged in with us, so then it kind of helped us, because we had the underage and they had the overage kind of. But yeah, I'd say it kind of helped in a way.
So what like senior players would have been involved in around the team? So when you were 15, 16, you're going into that to that setup. Is there any kind of big names there that have probably went on to, you know, achieve further things, or even players that are probably still currently in the Shell team there right now?
Just obviously the big one would be Katie McCabe. Obviously she was there. And then obviously the likes of Noelle Murray and stuff like that. Obviously, to be honest, when I was quite young, like I didn't know who was who. I was just kind of concentrating on football. And then obviously 4th session A, you're like, okay, these are obviously quality. Like, but yeah, I'd say there's a good few. Obviously Pearl as well. Rachel Graham. A lot of them will kind of be, you know, good names, and it was kind of nice to train with them and experience that though.
Brilliant. Speaking of a few players that you just mentioned, we did do a bit of research and, you know, texting around just to get a bit of feedback from some. You know, some of your teammates that we did kind of chat to, they mentioned, you know, your character. So in terms of, you know, how you are in the changing room and stuff like that, how important do you think, you know, having good character, or even having a character like yours is, I suppose, maybe, and like internally and then externally then as well?
Yeah, I think, like we said at the start of conversation, that's what you you memorise, like obviously the memories of having a laugh with the girls and stuff like that. That's what you look back on. I think I like to have a laugh and stuff like that. But I think when it comes down to football, like I like to be really focused. I like to get on with everyone, but I think that's kind of what makes a team, if everyone gets on well and stuff like that. I think if anything, that improves football and it makes us a better team, which is the main thing.
Class. Love that. Love that. Talk to me a little bit then, life outside of football. So, you know, suppose you'd like to think that at some stage, you know, the league here, the Women's National League here will get to a professional level. You know, how do you balance, you know, working, you know, a full-time job, doing that as well, like in terms of looking after yourself with nutrition, sleep, recovery and stuff like that?
Well, I'm a personal trainer at the moment.
Brilliant.
So it's kind of everyday life anyway. You have to eat healthy and stuff like that.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I try anyway. But yeah, it's good. Obviously it's hard kind of working and playing as well. Obviously it'd be nice to just play football. But I think when you look at it, it's hard and it's tough, but it's what you're used to. It's kind of what you grow up doing kind of. So it's not, you do it because you love it, but it's what you're used to. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's enjoyable, but sometimes it can be tough.
It's crazy just kind of, as I'm bouncing the questions off you, a lot of what you've just mentioned there is the word love. So to me, straight away, you're just someone like a human or a player that just loves the game, which I think is fantastic. Like, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
You can even see it kind of nearly in your face how much you love football, which is brilliant. So yeah, like in terms of your what would you say, a general kind of week for Alex Kavanagh? What does that kind of look like in terms of balancing both?
Yeah.
So, would you have the same kind of work rota, or do you kind of work around that?
Yeah, in a way. Obviously, we train Monday, Wednesday, Friday with Shells, and then I'd kind of work Monday to Friday. Obviously, it changes sometimes with games and stuff like that. So obviously, I'd work up to 5, and then I'd go. We train at 7, so we do gym, and then obviously train, and then same again the next day. But if we don't have training on the days, I just try to do gym workout or something like that, or a pitch session.
Brilliant. Yeah. And how long are you involved in the personal training business?
Probably say about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, it's what I'm interested in. But I kind of would like to kind of move on to. I'd love to go abroad for football. It would be what I'd want to do, but obviously I think I like having that in the background. Kind of, it does help with my football as well. So, but yeah, it's good. It's enjoyable.
Yeah. Do you find that, like, obviously, myself, I've had a few kind of like office jobs and stuff like that. Do you find kind of that's how you became a kind of personal trainer, because it kind of relates to football, like helping people with their fitness goals and stuff like that?
In a way, yeah. I think it's just, obviously, I think I worked in Central for like 3 days.
Okay, no go.
Get me out of here. But yeah, I think it's kind of, and then obviously I'd done the FOSS course, so kind of I went down that route, and I just kind of enjoyed it. I don't think I'd be into like the office jobs. I need to be moving and doing stuff. Yeah, and it's something different every day. It's not always the same thing, and it's enjoyable to do. So yeah, I'm happy I picked it.
And do you have your own kind of personal training page, or are you working in a gym?
I don't want to go too deep into it. Yeah,
I was just going to shout you out, that was all. Make sure you follow.
Just shout at me on Instagram, that'd be great.
That's class though. Where is my next question? Yeah, so your life at Shells then as a whole. So you're talking, over 300 appearances. You're the longest serving player. I think you mentioned a couple of the girls already, like the likes of Pearl and Noelle and even Rachel. So talk to me a little bit how you've found your time from kind of, I suppose maybe even just from kind of going into the senior setup in terms of like what you've achieved and stuff like that, and I suppose how much you've enjoyed the experience so far.
Yeah, it's been good. I think obviously when I was younger, obviously Keith, Jay and Derek, they actually rang me and they're saying obviously come in. I think just underage, it's just, you enjoy it so much looking back, you're just like, it's quality. But I think since the girls have merged in with us, it's been kind of nice to win the league and stuff like that and cups. Just an unbelievable experience, kind of one you can't really forget. But yeah, it's good, it's enjoyable.
You just mentioned leagues and cups there. What do you think it comes down to? So obviously you need the players first of all, but is there anything there maybe, for the listeners or the viewers that mightn't come across as easy to say, right, this is how we've done it. Like, I know it's not that straightforward, but is there anything there kind of in the back of your mind that says, right, obviously we set up when we play well and wherever else, but is there more to it than that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to it. It's not easy. I think it's just, I think you need a lot of resilience. I think you need to be competitive, obviously, but I think a lot of teams, obviously, when you win leagues and stuff like that, a lot of teams can get complacency. I think like with us at Shells, like we always like to ground ourselves if we have won something. It's hard and it's not easy, but I think if you get the right group and then obviously right coaches and stuff like that, I think it's a lot of things, but it comes down to resilience and just competitiveness. I think obviously with this season there's a lot of teams that are improving, but sometimes obviously the standard could be lower in the recent years, and then obviously I think you just need to have a set standard, and if you keep to that. Obviously it's not as easy as it sounds, but I think you just set your standards and you don't go below that.
Going back to the players that we mentioned again, I suppose the more experienced ones, like how much of a help were they for you coming up into that senior setup, and from an early age, how much did you kind of learn from them, because they are really like top pros in my eyes.
Definitely, I think they've been great, to be honest. I don't think they get enough recognition for themselves, to be honest. Like with obviously Pearl, she's an amazing captain. She's done a lot for me personally as well. But with Rach, I think like for me, going up, I've kind of looked up to Rach obviously because she's in my position and stuff like that. for me, she's actually a very underrated player in the league.
I'd agree there.
Yeah, very underrated.
I've trained with Rachel many a times. I think she might have nutsed me a few times as well.
She'd be happy with that, getting nuts. But yeah, I think just I've kind of always looked up to Rach, just her professionalism as well. You know, I've spoken to her a few times just about like kind of diet and stuff like that. She doesn't drink and stuff like that. I think that's a big thing. I think for me, I've always looked up to her because I think she's very, very underrated. Just because she's not a tricky player, but she does the simple things right. And I think
ball
sometimes
retention is really good.
Yeah, massively. But yeah, I think for me, I don't think players notice her, but she gives me a lot of freedom in the pitch to kind of do what I want to do. Because I can always kind of look back and be like, right, Rachel's going to cover me if I mess up.
The gaff is safe.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. But yeah, I'd say Pearl and Rachel, obviously the rest of the girls have been great as well, like the likes of Noelle. Gemma's a big one, she's come in, Gemma Quinn. She's a legend. But yeah, I think all around, like all the girls that have come in, they've been amazing to me. And then obviously I try to do the same back to them.
Just going off, I suppose, like the amount of appearances that and the experience you've gained over, you know, probably since you started playing in the senior setup.
Yeah.
Do you see, like, how do you find the kind of roles reversed? So you kind of being a Pearl to the younger
that's
kind
what
of
I feel
girls.
like this year. I'm feeling a bit older now, to be honest. But for me, I just try to make the girls feel like as welcome as possible. I try to get on with a lot of the younger girls, trying to make them feel welcome. Obviously, I think as well you need standards, because I think when we first came up, we were getting screamed at, you were getting, and I think some players can take that personal, but for me, I kind of like that. It's kind of challenges it. But obviously, if there's a few screams or like put the hand on the back or whatever, just try help to come up. Just try to give experience to them. They'll learn, but obviously it takes a bit of time, like it did with me. But yeah, no, they're all, I think with them, the young girls, there's now people like that'd be too confident. They're a nice group that we have, so yeah, it's nice.
And how do you find the younger generation in terms of, you know, we spoke to past guests in terms of, you know, they're looking at lads coming through and, you know, to maybe when they were, so they could be, say, you know, 29, 30 years of age now, and they're kind of saying, you know, the younger generation are, you know, how do you find it? Like, because a lot of the lads say that they don't think that they were as technically gifted, or they don't think that, you know, they probably looked after their bodies and stuff as well as they would have, you know, during that time frame of maybe, you know, 17, 18 years of age.
Ability wise, is it? Yeah.
Ability wise, and then I suppose, you know, I can't remember, I think it was Dylan Connolly that mentioned it. Yeah. He just said that he was kind of amazed of how, you know, kind of professional that they were, you know?
Yeah, I think it comes from underage, the team you're with, and what you're coached. I think that's a big thing. But for me, all the girls, like, they have a good mindset. They want to do well. I don't think with this group that we have, there's no overconfidence or anything like that. I think we're quite lucky, because I think sometimes a lot of the young ones can come up and they're just right where we're in and that's it. Yeah. But with this group, it's a nice group. But yeah, I think it's kind of comes from what they learn underage. And I think with Shells, we've had good underage coaches, so they're quite professional, I'd say. Yeah.
Really good, really good. Kind of two questions into one. What message would you give your younger self? And then what message would you give to the younger generation coming up in terms of trying to be, I suppose, the next Alex Kavanagh, or to maybe go on and, you know, get to the pro level? Yeah.
To myself, I'd say probably just believe in yourself. Just do what makes you happy kind of in football. I think I know it's a bit cliche, listen to your coaches and stuff like that, but I think the more you grow up, I think like it actually makes sense. Listen to your coaches, kind of work on what you need to improve on and stuff like that. But I'd say work hard with setbacks. I think don't take them too personal, because sometimes I did. But yeah, I'd say setbacks just kind of, I think no matter how many you get, just keep working hard. And I think if you have your hard work, at the end of the day, like, something's going to come around for you. You're going to get an opportunity, get a chance. I know obviously there is lots of setbacks and it's hard sometimes, but I think if you just have that work rate, whether it's on the pitch or talent wise, if you don't have the talent, you have that work rate. I think that'll be a big thing.
I think that's, it's probably cliche, but,
I know.
hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work beats talent, and talent doesn't work hard.
I know,
Do you
that's
type of
what, and
way?
I hate that
And
one as well.
do you know
but
what it is?
so
But
true,
it's so,
yeah.
it makes,
Yeah.
it makes so much sense,
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
You mentioned setbacks, and you've probably kind of answered, some the questions that I'll probably ask you, but how have you dealt with setbacks? Like, because I know you had a bad knee injury and stuff, and then kind of being in around kind of, what would you say, coaching staff that probably, you're not kind of the number one priority, or they mightn't fancy it as much.
Definitely,
so, like, what's the approach?
Yeah, I think it's hard when you're in the moment. I think looking back, I've learned a lot of things. But like I said, obviously I had a bad injury, and then obviously I wasn't enjoying football for a little bit because obviously you're not playing. It's hard. But I think just for me anyway, it was kind of just, like I said again, fall in love with the game again, enjoying it. But it's hard sometimes if you're not playing. But I think just having that work rate worked massively for me. But probably on the coaching side of things, I think every player wants to play, and it's hard when you're not playing. Obviously, look, it's disagreements with the staff and stuff like that. But like I said, like I wasn't playing for a while, and obviously I wasn't enjoying it. I met up with Pearl and stuff like that, and she was very good to me. She just said, look, you need to just keep working, you need to keep going, and that's what I did do. And then obviously this year, Owen and Roy have come in, and I think they believe in me there anyway. But they're really good.
They seem like two top lads now, to be fair. I've never met them.
Yeah. No, they know their stuff, and it's nice because they're young as well. They can kind of relate, and they've played in the game as well, especially Alan. But it's really good to work with people that would believe in you. But yeah, they know their stuff, and it's nice to see.
It's crazy that you mentioned. I was only talking to a parent that was involved in Be the Difference, and he mentioned something to me. He said, I think how you are doing so well is because yous are all young. Like he was saying, if yous are all, like, say, 40, 50 years of age.
100%,
like, so that you've mentioned that about Owen and I can't think the other lad's name.
Rory,
sorry, Rory Kirk, so how do you think, like I was kind of thinking to myself the other day about it as well, and I was like, right, that does make sense, but like what's kind of going on in your mind when you're being coached by someone's like that that's probably only retired, or that's in around your age, and kind of, I don't know, banter probably comes into it as well, like, do you know what I mean?
No, that's the thing, you'd get on great with the lads, and I think that's kind of helped us this season. I think everyone's loving their football because the lads are so nice, but they know their stuff. Obviously they don't let you take the piss in a way, so I probably shouldn't be saying that, but they're relatable, they've played, they know their stuff, but it's just kind of nice because they're a bit younger, they know the game, they can kind of relate, like Owen's been away and stuff like that, so we know what it's like. But yeah, it's good, it's nice to have them. Obviously it's early and stuff like that, but I think all the girls are loving it, the training's great, and I think that helps. If everyone's enjoying it, it's going to bring a better team.
Yeah, pulling together as a unit, isn't
definitely,
it? Just to touch back there, what you said there, in terms of being around coaches and stuff like that. I've kind of, dealt with that myself as well, in terms of the approach when you weren't playing. So see that time when you weren't playing, how long were you out of the team there for?
When I was injured, or just, I think it was...
See, when you weren't kind of playing, so you're on the bench.
It was nearly half a season, if not longer. Yeah.
So, same again, are you the type of player that's going knocking on a manager's door saying, why aren't I playing? Or are you the type of player that, you're just kind of working hard and training? Because I always found me, when I played and I was in that position, that if I went and knocked on the manager's door and said, I can do this, I'm going to do that, and then you don't do it. It kind of, I think it can be harder nearly on yourself to kind of deal with that, and then,
definitely.
I find that really difficult. So what type of player is Alex when she's not being picked?
Yeah, I think every player kind of, they'd be lying if they say, oh look, pull the manager up to be like, look, because everyone wants to play. But I was knocking, but I don't think anyone was answering the door. No, to be fair. But yeah, I think, look, obviously I was trying to work as hard as I can. I just, obviously I was asking, what can I improve on, what can I do? And I think I tried to do what they told me. and I tried to do it as well as I can, and I think I just worked as hard as I can, and I think I was given that chance by the end of the season. I eventually got back in, and obviously just continued to work hard. It was hard, it's not nice, obviously, it's upsetting. Just stay quiet, put your head down and work hard, and that's all you can do. Definitely.
Yeah, so that was kind of going to be moving on to my next question in terms of anyone, say, it could be male, female, could be playing at any age.
Yeah.
Is there a message that you'd have to anyone that could have been in your shoes there?
Yeah.
Is it just, head down and keep working hard? Is it still the cliche, or have you got anything else to kind of expand on that?
It is cliche, but I'd just say try do what you haven't been doing, try something different. I would say work hard, I know it is cliche, but just try do what your manager wants you to do, obviously, what you think you can improve on and stuff like that. But for me, anyway, personally, it was just, right, okay, I need to work harder, I need to get that side of my game on, because if a manager didn't think that I was that side of my game, that's what I need to improve on. But yeah, I'd definitely say work hard, yeah.
Brilliant. I want to talk to you a little bit about coaching then, in terms of you being coached. So I know you mentioned previously that you are, when you started out, you were involved with the boys and stuff like that, and then even going on the Ireland setup and underage at Shells, and even now being involved with the amount of appearances you do have at senior level. What have you seen in terms of differences to maybe coaching, say maybe 5 to 10 years ago to now? It's madness, to be honest. It's a lot more organised now, and people, you can't get away with not knowing your stuff. I think obviously back then you can get away with kind of not knowing, look, you go out and play. But I think now it's getting harder, the standard's getting higher, and I think you don't get away with that if you don't know your stuff. And I think with the lads, obviously, they come in this year, they know their stuff, they're well prepared, and I think that shows in performances, like we're all enjoying our football. I think it's changed massively, but it's changing for the better. You're getting tested, like, whereas if you're just getting tested as a footballer, you might be getting tested as a coach because you have good players, kind of. But now I think you can kind of see if you're a bad manager, not if you're a bad manager, but if you don't know your stuff, you're going to get called out, kind of. And does that come from, like, see if you are in a team and you don't think a coach or a manager knows their stuff? I'm not saying that like the coach or the manager doesn't get respected, but I think you need to earn it, don't you? Like, from players, like
100%. I think massively you need to put a statement down. Obviously, I don't think if you don't have your players' respect, you're not going to get anything from them. I think obviously with the lads coming in, they know their stuff. I think they have put a statement down. Obviously, you need to be kind of strict as well. You can't just let players do what they want. I think that's a big thing. Obviously, young players coming up and stuff like that, a lot of them can be overconfident, and even older players, even players like myself and stuff like that. If some players are complacency and stuff, I think you need to be well trained in the coaching side of things to kind of experience that. Like, if you don't have your players' respect in a way. But I think it's massive. If you have your players' respect, they're going to want to do stuff for you. I think it'll make you a better team.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant, 100%. I like that. Talk to me a little bit about then the Women's National League. So, to me, I think the growth of it has been phenomenal in my eyes. So, what do you think the growth has came down to, and then like how far do you believe that it can actually go to?
I think it's just standards, really. I think everyone in the league, the girls will know, kind of, it's just you put a lot into it, and I think when you put so much into something, you kind of need the rewards and you need standards. If we're putting so much in, we need certain things back, kind of like standards and stuff like that. And I think it comes down to that. Obviously, we've put a lot into the league, and I think obviously the FAI and stuff like that and the Women's National League have realised that, and they're trying to make it grow and try and make it get better.
Brilliant. Talk to me a little bit. We talked about the coaching as well. How much do you think that you've kind of improved, kind of like your overall kind of like football IQ, or how much do you think you've improved kind of like tactically then as well over the last couple of years even?
Yeah, I think massively. I I think obviously the more you do it, the more experience. But I think for me, the coaches that I've had, like for this year, Owen and Roy, I've learned a lot off them. I chat with them a lot. Obviously I was with Sean Maher a few years ago. I learned a lot off him. I think it's just obviously if you have that kind of relationship with a coach, look, obviously they can tell you different things and stuff like that. But for me, it'd be certain seasons you'd learn more than others. But this season I feel like I'm learning a lot. I'm getting challenged, which is a good thing. But yeah, I think it just depends on the coach. Obviously, if you have that relationship, they want to make you better, you want to get better. But yeah, I'd say kind of that relationship you'd have with a coach kind of is a big thing for me.
Yeah, it's massively important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so talk to me a little bit. Future aspirations for Alex Kavanagh, what are they?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I'd love to go abroad. I think every player's dream is kind of to go abroad. I just felt I haven't been ready, kind of maturity wise and stuff like that. Obviously I was away on trial with clubs and stuff, but I'd probably say I definitely would love to go abroad if I work hard enough, definitely. But yeah, obviously I think everyone's dream, it's a big one, but obviously I'd love to get back into the Ireland team. It's massive for me, like I love the country, and I think having those bits of experience, it's kind of, I know what it's like. I think it's getting better massively. But I definitely think I'd love to go abroad, but I think a big one for me would like be the Ireland call-up. Maybe if I keep working hard and hopefully keep doing the right things.
Certainly. Yeah. You mentioned, trials and stuff like that. How recent is that, or is that in the pipeline to happen?
Yeah.
Or
I've been on trial a few years ago, and I just felt like I wasn't ready. And then obviously I went a few months ago and stuff like that. I just felt like it wasn't right for me, just club wise and stuff like that. But I think I definitely, if obviously I ever had the option, I'd definitely take the jump. Obviously I love Shells and it's a big thing for me. I'd hate to leave because I love it so much, but I think for myself I need to challenge myself more and try to get better out of myself. Obviously it'd be bittersweet because it's amazing at Shells, but yeah, I definitely think if I do have the opportunity, or if I was lucky enough to get the opportunity, I'd definitely take it, yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about then the gap. So in terms of where you are now at Shells and where you want to aspire to get to.
Yeah.
Like, do you think, say, whether it's across the water in England or elsewhere, how much of a gap do you think it is in terms of, the football as a whole, and then maybe yourself then as well?
Yeah, I think massively. Obviously it's just another level over there. It'd be a massive step up. Obviously it'd be tough. Definitely starting off, obviously, like a lot of the girls have went over, I've been chatting to them from Shells and stuff like that. It's obviously a massive step up, but it's something that I try challenge myself if, obviously, hopefully one day I can try. But yeah, I think obviously it's a little bit different here. Obviously I feel like their setup is just way different. Obviously they have better facilities and stuff like that. Hopefully we'll get
more
there
funding
one.
as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's hard. I think obviously the league is making the most of what we have. But yeah, hopefully one day.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Right, 2 more questions. Describe to anyone that doesn't know Alex Kavanagh what type of footballer you are. Sell yourself now. We'll get a few clubs watching.
It's a tough one. I don't know. I'd probably just say technical. I love getting on the ball. Like I hate being off the ball. Yeah. Probably because I have to run, but no, I love getting on the ball. Just kind of trying to play as many passes as I can. Making movements. Yeah, I think this year I've kind of worked on my defensive game. I've trying to work hard. I've definitely tried to improve that. But I think definitely I love getting on the ball. I love trying. Probably cliche, but a playmaker, I'd say. But yeah, definitely.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Last 2 then. So, in your opinion now, who do you think is the best player that has played in the league or is currently playing in the Women's National League? And then a player to look out for as well for the upcoming season. Or for the season ahead, should I say.
The best player in the league that has played, or?
Could be either. So best player that has ever played in the league that's moved on, and don't, you know, I know there has been big names that's played in there, but you know, maybe someone that's even, you know, I know you mentioned Rachel there as well, that she probably doesn't get recognition, but you know, in your opinion, so it could be a player that has gone on, you know, to play further afield, you know, that's played in the league before, or someone that's currently playing, and then obviously a player that you think is up and coming that has big potential.
I think probably playing, obviously, look, you have the main ones, the likes of Katie and stuff like that. Obviously, I think for me, I'd look up to Denise O'Sullivan. I think she's quality. But I'd say if I'm going for off my team, I'd probably, obviously there's a lot of tricky players like Noelle and stuff like that, but for me, who I've looked up to and I think is very underrated, I probably would say Rachel Graham.
Really,
yeah, she's been massive for me. Like looking up to her and stuff like that, but I think she's very underrated in what she does. She doesn't get enough shout outs, I don't think, because she's a simple player, but she does what she does well. But yeah, I'd definitely say Rach, I think, for me.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And then player to look out for then?
Oh, I'm trying to think on that one. A young player, would it have to be young or?
Doesn't even have to be.
No.
So as you said again, like I know you're after mentioning Rachel, but you know, someone that probably is, you know, kind of hiding underneath the curtain type of thing, you know, that's, you know, that might surprise some people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Could be a young player though as well, it's really up to you.
Yeah, I think obviously you have the main players, like there's a lot of young ones like Ellen Malloy and stuff like that.
That's right, Wexford, isn't she?
Yeah, obviously Maggie Pearce, she's with us. There's a lot, I'm trying to think who.
Leah O'Leary.
Yeah, actually, you know what? You know, that's a great shout. I'm going to give that to Leah O'Leary. Yeah. I think she's quality. I think in respect to her, like she's had a setback. She wasn't playing with Shells. She wasn't happy at Shells and she moved. I think she took the right move for herself. And I think, look, she's obviously got Young Player of the Year, and I think that's massive for her. But yeah, actually, it's a great show. I wasn't actually thinking her, but I'd definitely give it to her.
But yeah, look, Alex, really enjoyed that conversation. Really insightful. Look, you know, I think it's great what you're doing. I'll be watching out for you. I wish you the best of luck. Appreciate your time again, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Perfect. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Right, guys, episode 10. That's a wrap. And remember, don't be lazy. Hit the subscribe button. Catch us on the next one.